Now at Target 12, investigators exclusive, investigating antique plates.
Would you put an antique license plate on this car? How about this one? Or maybe even this one? Some Rhode Islanders are doing just that.
And we found more and more cars you would never think of as an antique now sport these special license plates after a law changed 5 years ago that relaxed the rules.
Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with the exclusive details.
There's a big advantage to having an antique plate on your car. It's far cheaper to register and insure, and the car does not have to pass inspection. Get in the front seat of Sal Lombardi's 1949 Cadillac 60 Special, and there is no doubt you're in a classic.
A bygone era. Feel the seats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like sitting at home, isn't it?
It is. It's like being on a couch.
That's exactly it.
Lombardi has a regular passenger plate on his 1949 car because he feels it's the right thing to do since he uses it more frequently. But on his 1941 Caddy, he has an antique plate.
It's used for, registered for, to go to parades, to go to antique car shows, to take your time getting there. So that's the purpose of it.
In 2014, lawmakers relaxed the rules on when a car with an antique plate can be used. The law used to say antique plates were solely for exhibitions, club activities, parades, but now the law says the vehicle may also be used for limited enjoyment and purposes other than the previously mentioned activities. Records show in 2013, before the law changed, there were more than 1,200 antique plates issued by the state that year alone. In 2018, more than 2,500 were issued. That's more than double. And that has led to a dramatic rise in the total number of cars considered antiques on the road, from 8,800 in 2013 to more than 13,000 cars with antique plates today. Would you put an antique plate on that car right there?
No.
To qualify for an antique plate, cars need to be 25 years old or older. Target 12 went through the make and models of all cars with classic car registrations and found hundreds that stretch the definition of antique. 1994 Toyota Camrys, Honda Civics, this Ford F-150, a 1991 Subaru Legacy, for example. In fact, nearly 500 cars with the model year from 1990 to 1994 were registered as antiques in 2018.
I mean, there's nothing unusual about this car. There's nothing special about this car. I think what they're doing is, number one, they're doing it to avoid the costly registration of the vehicle.
It costs $60 or more to register a regular passenger vehicle, depending on weight. It only costs $5 to register an antique. And in 2016, 2 years after the law change, the DMV changed the plate, doing away with the embossed classic car to this more subtle license plate.
We have a throwaway society. Yeah. That's what it is. They're building cars that you're going to throw away. This car was made forever.
The average premium to insure an antique car totals about $300 per year. To compare, the average driver with a passenger vehicle will pay about $1,500 for car insurance in 2019. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
Now the latest on a Target 12 exclusive, investigating antique plates.
At 5, we revealed hundreds of cars like these are driving around Rhode Island with antique plates. The numbers are on the rise after a 2014 law change relaxed the rules on when cars with cheaper registration can be used.
Now at 6, we bring our findings to the lawmaker who sponsored that bill.
Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with those exclusive details.
DMV data shows in 2013, before the law changed, there were more than 1,200 antique plates issued by the state that year alone. In 2018, more than 2,500 were handed out. Sal Lombardi owns two classics: a 1949 Cadillac 60 Special and a 1941.
They're cars from a bygone era that we're never going to duplicate again.
On his 1949, Lombardi has a regular passenger plate because he thinks it's the right thing to do since he uses the car more frequently. His 1941 has an antique plate.
To go to parades, to go to antique car shows, to take your time getting there.
But it's not just car shows anymore. In 2014, lawmakers relaxed the rules on when a car with an antique plate can be used. DMV data shows that has led to a dramatic rise in the total number of cars considered antiques on the road, from 8,800 in 2013 to more than 13,000 cars with antique plates today. A review of the data found hundreds of common cars from the 1990s, including Honda Civics, 1994 Toyota Camrys, and other 25-year-old vehicles that you wouldn't think of as classics getting antique plates from the DMV. You don't expect to see that at an antique car show, right?
Sometimes you see newer cars at antique car shows.
Senate Majority Leader Michael McCaffrey was the prime sponsor of the 2014 legislation.
I was contacted by antique car enthusiasts, and they said, all we can do is drive our cars to the show. We'd like to drive them a little more just to show them off.
There are financial perks to having an antique plate. They only cost $5 to register. Insurance is far cheaper, and the car does not have to pass inspection.
You're saying that you're going to only use it limited times. It's not going to be your primary vehicle. Obviously, if they're using it as a primary vehicle, then they're in violation of the statute.
Most people don't get them inspected. Who knows how the brakes are, if all the lights are working.
For Lombardi, sitting behind the wheel of his 1949 Cadillac 60 Special, hundreds of cars on the road with an antique plate simply shouldn't qualify.
They're nothing special. To me, they're used cars. I guess it's because of my age.
We checked, and both Connecticut and Massachusetts have stricter rules on what qualifies as an antique or when they can be used. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.